Technical Writing for Inspectors, Module 2, Tell Them. Instructor Gary A. Pace, PE, CWI, Katy, Texas, TexasWeldingEngineering.com. Learning objectives. We're going to tell them what we're going to tell them. Tell them, and then we're going to tell them what you told them. Okay, so with the basics of report writing, first thing we're going to do is we're going to tell them what we're going to tell them. And this is the introduction. We're just going to give them a boiled down version of this report is about the Minnesota Vikings. That's what we're going to tell them. We're just going to give them a brief synopsis of what we're going to tell them. We're just going to let them know, hey, this is what this report is about. We're not going to cover everything in the introduction, but we're just going to tell them. Well, then we're going to tell them. We've already told them what we're going to tell them. Now we're going to tell them. This is the second time we're going to tell them. And this is in the body of the report. We're going to tell them what we're going to tell them. We're telling them. This is where all the information is. We break it down. This is the nitty-gritty. The body of the report has all kinds of information in it. Well, then the last part, we're going to tell them what we told them. And in doing so, we're going to put all this information into the report conclusion, and we're going to tell them what we told them. And in this one, we tell them, yeah, okay, this report is about the Minnesota Vikings. And we rehash everything that we covered in the report body. So we tell them what we're going to tell them, and then we tell them what we told them. So why do we go through this? Why do we have to tell them what we're going to tell them, and then tell them what we told them? Well, part of it is this is how reports are written in the United States. But there's a thing called the marketing rule of 7. So studies have shown that people need to see a message at least 7 times before it sinks in and they understand the information before they remember it. So that's kind of why we're doing this. We don't just want to tell people once, we're telling them a couple of times. And in this format, you don't just dive into the report. You kind of give them a brief overview, and then you give them the report and the body, and then you hit them with the conclusions. And it's pretty much common sense that, this theory that you need to repeat yourself, it supports the idea that people learn and remember things by repetition. And I don't know if that's really this is the right place, but that's why we write things how we write them. So in this, you're going to be repeating yourself. So when you're writing a good report, you need to lay things out, and you're going to tell the reader what you're going to tell them, and then you're going to have to systematically repeat yourself. And you don't want to repeat the same thing over and over and over in the exact same way, but you're going to deliver the same information from a couple of different directions. So you're going to end up repeating yourself. And you don't do it verbatim. You don't say the cat is red, the cat is red, the cat is red. You're going to have to come at it from a couple of different directions in explaining why this cat is red, or whatever we're writing about. But you don't do it verbatim. We're going to do it systematically, and we're going to explain, what the information we're going to try and do, but we're going to repeat ourselves, but we're going to do it in a nuanced and controlled manner in how we repeat ourselves. So the first part of a report is the introduction. So this is where we're going to tell them what we're going to tell them. We're just going to tell them what we're going to tell them. We're going to let them know what the report's about. What should they expect in this report? But the introduction, we're not going to have all the heavy lifting. It's going to be a boiled down version of the report body, a smaller, tighter version. And it's just going to be a quick overview of what the report's going to cover, and we're telling them what we're going to explain to the reader. This is what we're going to explain. And we don't explain it yet, we just tell them what we're going to explain to them. So then we have the report body. This is where we tell them. This is going to be our detailed discussion of the information we're trying to get across to the reader. This is the depth and the completeness of the information we're trying to transfer to that reader. This is, in the introduction, we just kind of had a skim cut. We had a nice little brief overview where we talked about, we explained a really high level view of what we're going to explain to them. Report body, we're getting into it deep. We're going to add some depth and breadth of knowledge to what we're going to explain to them. The body is going to show what was done, how it was done, what the results were, and some conclusions and recommendations that can be drawn in the body of the report. For the most part, the conclusion is going to be its own section, but in the body of the report, we can draw some conclusions and have recommendations. Okay, this happened, this weld happened. We're going to put, we recommend that this should be done. So that's what goes into the report body. The report body, this is the information and the main text of the report. And it's going to be located in between the introduction and the conclusion. And as I said before, this is where we tell them what we're going to tell them. This is where we're telling them. This is the information. This is the main body of the report. The conclusion, this is where we're going to wrap everything up. The conclusion is where we tell them what we told them. It's going to give us a chance to reinforce the main message of the document. This is where we wrap it up. We're taking all the information that we told them. We're boiling it down into a very tight little package that conveys the information that was in the body of the report. And it also helps us repackage it, resell it, and get that information to the reader. So that's what we do in the conclusion. And it summarizes the whole report. It condenses down the entire body of work of what we were reporting or what was decided into a very tight package. So the conclusion is also going to include the impact of any findings or decisions. That's going to be put in here. We wouldn't want to put that in the introduction. It doesn't make sense to put it there. So we put it in the conclusion. Also, most short reports should include a conclusion. Even if it's something pretty short, you throw it in there and wrap up what you wrote. So summary, we told them we said we're going to tell them what you're going to tell them. We're going to tell them, and then we tell them what we told them. So this covers the introduction, the body of the report, and the conclusion. And it kind of gives us a linear way of delivering information to our readers. Questions, comments, thoughts, concerns? My name's Gary A. Pace. I'm a PE CWI out of Katy, Texas, TexasWeldingEngineering.com.